Hi everyone, it's Adam Cockburn here at Lowe Co, and today we're looking at the Wellington real estate market data for the month of June 2022 compared to June 2021 and June 2020. And folks, look, in summary, the market continues to be a buyer's market. Prices and values are continuing to fall. In fact, since the peak, the values, according to a Real Estate Institute House Price Index, are down almost 19% since the peak. So this is quite a considerable drop. We're seeing more supply out there than we've seen since any other July since 2015. And my message to buyers is, guys, do not wait for things to get better. This is about as good as it gets, so get in amongst it. So let's get into the detail. So firstly, looking at the median sale price. June 2022, 848,000 compared to 885,000 June 2021. That's down 4%, and you can see there clearly from the blue bar chart, really this is the lowest median sale price we've seen since before lockdown. So there was one other month in there, and I can't quite see when it was. I think it was maybe September 2021. When we saw the median sale price at about the same level. But other than that, this is the lowest we've seen since even way back before lockdown. And if you remember, as we came out of lockdown, we saw these huge price rises. So those have all been essentially eroded. If you follow these videos, you'll know that I don't pay too much attention to the median sale price because it's really influenced heavily by the mix of properties being sold. And so the better index to look at, or the better metric to look at, is the Real Estate Institute House Price Index. And if we look at that now, we see again really considerable drops, quite substantial drops here. 3.7% down in the month of June alone. 9.2% down in the last 3 months, and 12.2% down even compared to 12 months ago. So again, looking at that graph, you can see the orange line shows the 3-month moving average. And so way back there, as we were coming out of lockdown, earlier in 2021, as we were hitting the peak growth, we were up over 10% for 3 months, and then it's come right down, and over the last the whole of this year really, it's been negative territory, and so bouncing around in the last couple of months, almost down to 10% for the 3 months. So yeah, as I said before, the Wellington region is down 16% since the peak in October of 2021, and Wellington City down almost 19% in terms of the underlying values. So these are really substantial drops, approximately twice the drop that we saw in the GFC. The big question, of course, everyone's asking is how much further can it go? Obviously, nobody knows, but Tony Alexander does some excellent analysis looking at the values of the different regions. And if we look at just the Wellington region or the Greater Wellington regions, the Wellington City values are sitting about where they traditionally sit compared to the rest of the country, whereas other parts of Greater Wellington, be it the Hutt Valley or Pororua or the Wairarapa or Kapiti, they are still quite lofty compared to where they normally sit. So on that basis, Wellington City is a bit more defensive than the areas further out. Looking now at new listings, we're seeing quite a few more new listings come to market in June compared to a year ago and 2 years ago. 675 new listings. Now that's down compared to a few months ago, but that's just the winter effect. We tend to get fewer listings coming on in the winter months. So 675 compared to 547 in June 2021 and 536 June 2020. So you can see quite a similar number June 2020 and 21, and considerably more, sort of 23 to 26% more in the most recent June 2022. So we certainly are seeing more listings come on. Vendors are deciding to list their property at a greater rate than we've seen in the last couple of years. The number of sales taking place, now this is even more significant, 440 in June compared to 718 a year ago and 754 2 years ago. So 39% down on 12 months ago and 42% down on 2 years ago. And again, if you look at that graph, you see that red line there. That is really heading to quite low territory. We're sitting there on a 6-month average at about or just under 500 per month, 500 sales per month. per month. And since I started recording this data in early 2015, we've never seen anything like that. Typically it bounces between 600 and 800 on average per month, and down here just below 500. And that's significantly lower even than we saw in the 6 months, including the lockdown. So this is really quite slow going out there. This will be a combination of buyers who are unable to get the finance at the moment, and also buyers that are just being cautious and sitting on the sidelines. And again, my message to you guys out there, if you can buy, if you're finding something that suits you and you can afford it, go for your life. This is the opportunity where you can really be more fussy and more selective, but I urge you not to wait for, don't try and pick the absolute trough in the market, because it's very, very difficult to do that indeed. How long is it taking to sell a property in Wellington? It's continuing to take quite some time. Not quite as long as we saw in May, but at 50 days for June compared to 31 days for June 2021 and 34 June 2020, still significantly longer than we've seen for a couple of years now. Inventory, this is how many weeks worth of supply have we got on the market. For a second month in a row, we've got 20 weeks worth. The couple of months ago, we had 21. That was the highest I've ever seen it. But at 20 weeks for the last 2 months, that is 300% higher than a year ago and 80% higher than 2 years ago. So a year ago, it was 5 weeks. Now it's 20 weeks. This is an enormously dramatic turnaround in the amount of inventory on the market. Again, all these pointing to good news for those of you who are buyers out there. How many listings are we seeing on Trade Me? The trend continues. 2,645 as of today when I'm recording this in July, compared to 1,053 a year ago and 1,366 2 years ago. So 151% more than we saw a year ago and nearly 100% more than 2 years ago. Again, you look at those graphs there, the blue bar chart, you can see there that the number of listings on Trade Me has actually come down over the last couple of months. That does not mean we're seeing a tightening in the market. It is simply a seasonal effect. We always see fewer listings generally on the market in the winter months. In a month or two, we'll start to see more listings come back on again, and so it'll be interesting to see how low it goes before it starts increasing again. And again, the red line shows you there the 6-month moving average, and from that you can see it is still heading upwards. So that means in the last 6 months, we've seen more listings, or an increasing number of listings continuing in the last 6 months on that basis. So yeah, 151% higher than a year ago, and more listings than on Trade Me for any July since 2015. They really are great buying conditions out there at the moment. So folks, in summary, median prices and values are falling. Wellington region values down 16% since the peak and down 19% since the peak in the Wellington city. New listings up compared to a year ago and 2 years ago. Sales volumes down really quite significantly versus a year ago. Duration to sell is still high. It's up compared to a year ago, but level over the last few months. Inventory remains very high, 4 times what it was a year ago. More Trade Me listings than any July since 2015. As I keep saying, buyers, get in amongst it. Take advantage of the best buying conditions we've seen for many, many years. It may not get any better than this. Thanks for checking in. It's Adam here at Lowe Co. If you want an appraisal or any advice, give us a call. Always happy to chat. Cheers.